The use of international law to obtain accountability for crimes perpetrated by racist colonial and imperialist states such as Israel and the US has been, legally speaking, an impossible task. However, anti-imperialist lawyers continue to engage in international law because of the political value it can serve. It is a real challenge to continue engaging the international legal order to obtain justice for our peoples, especially when institutions like the ICC act in no way to protect our peoples, but to protect imperialist powers. Or when we know that weaker states are often bullied by Western states to vote a particular way. And when we see scenes play out, like the shameful vetoing of a mere ceasefire at the Security Council by the United States. Instead, the Security Council is used to give the US and UK political backing to attack and kill Yemenis once again, when Yemen is acting under its own obligations of the Genocide Convention to prevent genocide by using its strategic position to stop commercial ships from reaching Israel. We know clearly that the international legal order has been structured to serve and still very much serves the interests of imperialism, capitalism, and it is permeated by Western hegemony. Yet 10 days ago, when a magnificent South African legal team descended on the International Court of Justice in The Hague, laying out an outstanding case that Israel is committing genocide and demanding immediate steps to be taken to end the ongoing genocide, it felt different. It's not exactly about the expected outcome, although that will certainly be important. There could be relatively positive legal outcomes coming out of the first stage of these hearings, yet there's always the challenge of enforcement and the backroom attempts to sabotage the whole process. Yet first and foremost, the moving and often infuriating testimonies of the legal team itself made the ICJ a forum for truth for the world to see and hear, despite US and UK and other Western attempts to ignore and dismiss this process as baseless. Those who witnessed the hearing in person or televised, or even those that have watched clips, are left with little doubt that Israelis are engaging in one of the most brutal examples of colonial violence of our time, and the evidence will soon implicate those that have aided and abetted this genocide, namely the US. The significance of South Africa leading this struggle cannot be overstated. They not only know what it means to live in an apartheid system and successfully struggle against it, but they've also historically struggled against violent white settler colonial invaders in their own lands, colonizers who were deeply entrenched with Israel to support their own settler colonial project. The ICJ case has become a stage where a confrontation between the countries of the global South and the North is playing out, with formerly colonized nations like South Africa on one side, and on the other side, the states who have themselves all engaged in violent settler colonial projects, have engaged in genocide or benefited from it. The case itself reflects a rejection of imperialism, a rejection of Western hegemony by South Africa, and a call for the nations of Latin America, the Caribbean, Asia, and Africa to join them by providing legal and political support. A rejection of imperialism and a rejection of Zionism. If we get any semblance of a positive outcome in the first hearing stage, we need to do everything we can to pressure states to enforce the order to stop the genocide and hold Israel accountable. We also need to act to ensure that this process is not sabotaged and the ICJ will do its job and rule in agreement with the overwhelming evidence that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. The political pressure is vital now, and it will continue to be vital. The entire international legal order is on trial, and if it fails to meaningfully act, we need to start thinking about what it means to build something new. My last comment is not about the ICJ, but is related to how we use the law. We need to normalize resistance. We need to normalize the understanding of the right of resistance from Palestine to Yemen to Lebanon to the Philippines. Counterinsurgency culture has caused the basic right of resistance, which is legal, moral, and political, the basic right of resistance of colonized people, to be abandoned to the imperialist controlled discourses of terrorism and liberal human rights regimes. Both of these discourses are used as weapons against our movements. From Gaza to Yemen, long live the resistance.